Hi there. Thanks for watching the video for a few moments. You know, I think it's important for us to have a great discussion about the fiscal cliff and our nation's fiscal issues. And I have to tell you, it is vitally important that we remember we did not get here overnight. You all have heard me talk about this for years and my concerns with the spending. The reasons that we're currently facing the fiscal cliff have really been decades in the making, and I want to encourage you to go to the House Budget Committee website and look at some of the charts of what has happened there. It shows the escalation in federal spending. You know, the real root of this crisis lies with the fact that Washington has a spending problem. It does not have a revenue problem. Since coming to Congress in 2003, I have fought for common sense spending reductions to get our fiscal house in order. Since coming to Congress, I have offered legislation every single year to cut spending across the board by 1%, 2%, or 5%. I know some of you have heard me talk about this since my days in the state Senate. Actually, in 2005, Congress did pass the Deficit Reduction Act. It was our budget, and it made a 1% across the board spending reduction. We felt like that was a good first step, but things changed. House Republicans every year have passed a budget. The Senate has been 1,315 days as of today without passing that budget. That is completely unacceptable. Since regaining control of the House in 2010, Republicans have passed that budget both years that would actually cut government spending in order to protect hardworking taxpayers. And I think it's important to note they're actual spending cuts, not just cuts into the increase. Our budget that we have passed in the House, it does tackle the drivers of our debt, the long-term trust funds, and it looks at ways for our troops to be funded so that they don't pay for Washington's failure to take action. The budget restores economic freedom and it ensures a level playing field for everybody by putting an end to cronyism and special interest favoritism and also corporate cronyism. It reverses the president's policies that drive up the price of a gallon of gas at the pump, and instead it promotes an all-of-the-above energy strategy that is vital for unlocking American energy production to help lower our costs, create those jobs we're looking for, and reduce our dependence on foreign oil. The budget that we've passed in the House strengthens our health and our retirement security by taking power away from centralized government bureaucrats and instead puts the power with you, the patient, so that you make the decisions about your health care. It also reforms our broken tax code so that we're spurring job creation and economic opportunity by lowering those tax rates, closing loopholes, and putting hardworking taxpayers ahead of special interest groups. You know, some of you say, what are you doing about this problem? Well, House Republicans have passed 4 specific bills this very year to deal with these issues, the sequestration, the taxing, the spending, that has us teetering on the edge of the fiscal cliff. Let me direct you to these 4 bills. You can go to my website and take a little bit more in-depth look. H.R. 5652, the Sequestration Reconciliation Act of 2012. H.R. 6365, the National Security and Jobs Protection Act. H.R. 6169, the Pathway to Job Creation Through a Simpler, Fairer Tax Code Act of 2012. H.R. 8, the Job Protection and Recession Prevention Act of 2012. It never should have come to this, and I think that's a point that we can all agree on. We never should have gotten to this point. In spite of that, Republicans have continued to offer solutions to the fiscal problems that face this nation. We're putting conservative solutions out there that are grounded in solid fiscal policy. And we're continuing to hear nothing back from the Democrats when it comes to addressing the out-of-control spending that really is what has gotten us into this situation in the first place. You know, it is probably true that Washington's appetite for the taxpayers' money is never satisfied. The problem is really very simple. You've probably heard from your mom, sometimes doing the simple things are very, very difficult. And our problem is that Washington taxes us too much. Washington doesn't tax too little. Washington also spends too much. I can tell you I'm opposed to raising tax rates, and I made a promise to my constituents that I would oppose every effort to do so. Congress needs to focus on solutions. Some of those solutions, common sense. Clean up the tax code, close some of the loopholes, address meaningful entitlement reform, deal with our trust funds, Medicare and Social Security, make certain that they are going to be stabilized. And first, we need to make real spending cuts, actual spending cuts. If we don't change course and start to do some of these items, we're headed toward a very bleak fiscal and economic future. That is not what I want to see for my children and grandchildren, and I know it is not what you want for your children and grandchildren. So I need to hear from you. You know where to find waste, fraud, and abuse. You see it as you deal with the federal government every day. You know how the tax code and how overreaching federal regulations from some of these agencies are impacting your businesses. Please contact me. Tell me what you are learning, where you think we would be well served to place some attention so that we're shrinking, not expanding, the federal government. Stay in touch with me. Blackburn.house.gov. On Facebook, it's Marsha Blackburn, and on Twitter, @Marsha Blackburn. I would like to hear your ideas. Thank you.